In today's video we are gonna unbox and take a first look at the MacBook Pro for 2021. This is the 14-inch version with the M1 Pro. This is the base version that comes in at around 2,400 euros here in Sweden, which is including the 25% sales tax that we have here. It's by far the most expensive laptop I have bought in a very long time, but I felt like I really wanted to give another go to Apple after having a break for about 4 or 5 years from using Mac computers. I'm W2Best, I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and if you like this video after watching it, it would be super nice if you want to put a like on the video. If you want to communicate with me, you can find me in the comment section below, or on Instagram where I'm also at W2Best. Let's get right into it. My first Mac product in the past 4 years. This is gonna be pretty exciting, and I really wanted to get my hands on one of these devices since the release was about a week ago. And now it is here on release date, and I'm really looking forward to getting some time with this and be able to compare it with some of the best PC laptops that I know right now. Here we have the box, very classic Apple style with the product up in the front. Logo on the side, MacBook Pro. The specifications are on the back. I got the base model, which is the 8-core CPU and the 14-core GPU. It's the 14-inch version, and it has 16GB RAM and 512GB SSD. This is wrapped in some plastic, so let's get out an unboxing knife and get into it. Actually, I realized there is this thing here that you could just tear up to get into the plastic layer. So no unboxing knife needed to get into this box. We get a classic slow opening, which is very nice to see. When we get into the box, we get presented with the MacBook Pro up top, and we lift this little tab here to reveal the accessories down below. Now we can just feel the weight of it, and it's definitely heavier than my 14-inch PCs that I've been using previously. It's not super heavy, but it's a fair bit heavier compared to these lightweight PCs that I've been into. When getting in here, we can see that we get the MagSafe charger cable. So this has USB-C on one end, and it has MagSafe in the other end. And I feel like this is a pretty good combo of both worlds, because this means that the power plug will be USB-C, but then you can use either USB-C to USB-C cable or the USB-C to MagSafe cable. Great combination of power choices. We get a little bit of documentation here, a little tiny startup guide, maybe in a few different languages. This weird piece of just material here that makes it seem like there's more in it than what it actually is. And then we have some black Apple stickers in there. And then we have the USB-C adapter. So this guy is a pretty decent size. It's 67 watts. So 67 watt USB-C and only one USB-C port on it. Let's move right over to the main device here. Here we have the star of the show, the MacBook Pro 14-inch. And it is wrapped up nicely in a piece of plastic like this that comes off very easily. Then we fold that out on the different sides, and we get into the main machine here. And this definitely has a very high quality feel to it. It's amazing to feel this kind of metal chassis with some heaviness to it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this experience. Like it's super premium. Let's have a look at the bottom as well. Like, this is also very premium feeling. It sits very flush. We have some openings here on the sides that I wasn't completely aware of that they were there. A tiny bit of sharp edges, I would say, here on the openings. Just something to be aware of with the design. In the back here, it's really nice and flush together with the bottom plate here. So you can actually remove the screws from all I can gather here and get into it. But we'll have to see later on how it is with upgradability here, because Apple are usually not known for being the most upgradable computers. That's something to look into at a later point. On the right hand side here we have an HDMI port, we have a Thunderbolt 4 port, and we have a full-size SD card reader. On the left hand side here we have the MagSafe port for power, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports together with a headphone microphone combo jack. The Thunderbolt 4 ports can also be used for charging, so you choose which port you prefer to charge with. One thing you can also see when putting the laptop up on the side like this is that the front and the back are pretty much the same height. Let's see if the laptop can be opened with one hand. That was so easy to complete. And then we have this felt here protecting the screen. It starts up immediately, but let's just remove this. And now we can see the screen for the first time. I'm gonna tell you this right away. This is a really good looking screen. Seriously, like one of the first things you notice, I would say, is definitely the notch up there. Now when it's displaying something in full screen, it looks ridiculously marked out up there. But except that, I have to say that I find this very impressive. The color reproduction and the brightness is just really good at first impression here. I also get the first feel of the touchpad, and I haven't used Mac touchpads in such a long time. It's a relatively big touchpad, but it's not that giant one that is on the 15 and the 16 inch. And I appreciate that. I don't want too big of a trackpad. So I think this one is going to prove to be a pretty good size for me. I was testing out both the 14 and the 16 inch in store today, and I thought the 14 inch trackpad was definitely nicer.
If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac.
And there you could hear a little snippet of the speakers. That's also the first time I test out the keyboard of this machine. I thought the keys would have a little bit more travel to them. Like when I was just seeing the videos, I thought so. But I tested this out in store and I realized that they are still very low travel keys. Less travel than I am used to when I'm doing different PC reviews. So that's a tiny bit of a disappointment, but I need to spend some more time with it. The quality feel with the keyboard area is also very high, and I'm pushing down really hard here and it's not giving much way at all. The same goes for the trackpad area. If I'm pushing down really hard here, nothing is really happening. It is super high quality feel. Although in the top right corner here, that's actually where the trackpad is giving a little bit more weight than in the other parts. So that's quite interesting, because I don't know if that is something that you actually use. I'm still quite a noob when it comes to Mac OS, so I gotta figure all of these things out as I go here. I did think that the travel distance on the keyboard would be a little bit better, like a little bit more travel. But it's something that I will have to try out a bit more and see how I feel about it after some use time. One thing I find interesting to see here is the palm rest area, which before with the 13-inch Macs I've always felt was a bit too short, and then this part has been quite sharp, so you tend to rub your hands against it and get a bit of pain from just this sharp edge here. I feel like the palm rest is now big enough so that you can rest your whole hand on it and not get disturbed by this. I think this is making a huge difference with having the 16:10 aspect ratio 14-inch screen here. Setting up the fingerprint reader was super smooth. Setting up Hey Siri was very smooth as well. And I think we're getting to the end of this setup process, and I'm very keen to try out the speakers and see a little bit more of the screen and maybe a bit of the camera as well. Here they want me to add my credit card for Apple Pay, but that's not something I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna stick with a light theme right now, but I know that dark theme is better to hide this little notch up here. Yeah, so as you can see there, with the light theme, I still get the notch very visible up top. Let's bring up a browser and get a first feel of the speaker quality here. For a good 5-6 months now, and it's really been my favorite laptop for a very long time. I've only been using the IdeaPad 5 Pro for about 3 weeks now, but I'm beginning to like it quite a lot. That is some next level speaker quality for sure. I have been listening in to a few of my friends' Macs the last few years, but this kind of speaker quality is way above any other laptop speakers that I've been using in many years. So that's very nice to see in these first impressions. The speakers are top firing, as you can see here, and they both have a lot of bass to them and a lot of clarity, and they really go high in volume. So that's pretty impressive to listen to. One thing I realized with the keyboard layout is that the escape key is very wide. I don't care so much about layout of the escape key though, it can be the way that I want to. I more care about the layout of the enter key, and that looks the way that it's supposed to, with the full size here on the Scandinavian keyboard. The screen still looks absolutely amazing. Let's try and take it up to max brightness. That is some serious brightness levels on a laptop. I'm really happy to see that this is something that's going to work really well even in outdoor bright condition, even though it has a glossy display, as you can see there. Let's also take a quick look at the camera to see how this compares. Firing up the photo booth app here. I thought it was going to be a little bit better, at least here with my face. It's not that sharp. It's like it's placing a lot of sharpness behind me. Now, this is maybe not the most well-lit room, but I thought it was going to be even a bit better, this 1080p camera here. This is the quality of the webcam, and as you can see, it is relatively high quality compared to most of the other laptops that you can find on the market right now. This is a full HD webcam, and it's supposed to have really good microphones as well. What do you think about it? I'm super keen to know. I'm gonna try it out a bit more and see how I feel about it a bit further down the road. That is it for my unboxing and first look of the MacBook Pro 14-inch for 2021. I am super excited to finally get to use an Apple device after such a long break that I've had. Given that this now has the good port setup that it has, I actually feel like this could be a viable device for many of my different use cases. Let's see if it holds up to that. I'm gonna start using this device and spend some time with it before I come back with my full review. In a few days here, I will come back with my 48-hour impression video, and then a few days later there will be full review coming up. I'm W2Best, I make in-depth gear reviews, and I hope you have a really nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!